Happy Easter! Hello, my name is Martina and you are watching the Kiknadze Knits, aka my podcast where I share everything I knit and crochet or make out of some fiber. I hope you are having a really nice Easter. For the first time in my life I didn't have like the traditional Slovak Easter, which is really nice. Because I don't know if you know, but in my country the tradition is to, the men usually whip the ladies and drown them with water. So it was really nice that I didn't get wet this year. Today I have some updates on my projects. I have some finished objects and I have also some updates on my D-station, which might not be as positive as they could be. I guess it's the time for some hot beverage, some cozy knit, and let's start. The first finished object that I have here is something that I was really scared to knit or didn't want to knit, mainly because everyone was knitting one. And then I looked at the meterage and how much material I would use if I knitted one and decided that it's a perfect project for one skein, like 100-gram skein of Alize Angora Gold, which is 550 meters in 100 grams, which is perfect for tiny little ranunculus with semi-short sleeves in this bright red color. Since I knitted this one, I have been wearing this on many occasions. I knitted this, I finished this last week, and since I finished it, first of all, it had short sleeves, just a few more rows than it was intended for short sleeves, and I added a few more rows. So instead of 6 rows on the sleeve, I have 40, while the 40th round it's the I-cord bind off. And I made the size 4 for this one, mainly because I picked up the size that was fitting my bust, so it doesn't come out too oversized, too boxy. And I guess I did a pretty good job. It's a little bit short, it is a cropped design, but it's still maybe a little bit short, but I can work with it. I can just wear it over some high-waisted jeans and it will just look nice. So for this project we can take off of our stash 100 grams, which is 2 balls. I have this much left and it will be used because I would like to remake this bottom bind off and turn it into an I-cord one. I was really scared that it wouldn't fit, because first you start with the yoke increases, which are not visible, and then you start with the regular ones. And I was kind of scared that it wouldn't be big enough, that the increases, the the sequence of the increases wouldn't be fitting for my body type, but I guess it just worked out fine. One project done. It's perfect to throw over some summery top if it's not as warm as it should be, but I guess this year we are not going to be worried about that. You can just wear it as a nice layering piece. I already did that since we were traveling from Slovakia to Germany, and it was quite nice to throw on the gas stations just when we went to eat during the ride. So yeah, a much used piece of wardrobe. I'll put it here since it's done, and this is the yarn that I will use to finish it up. So minus 2 balls. Another project that I have finally off of my needles. I have been working on this since October. That's actually the reason or the theme with which I started my podcast, and it's the Geogradient shawl by Stephen West. This one was a beast. Maybe because at one point you have over 1000 stitches on your needles, but also because it becomes such a repetitive pattern that I was just so tired of it. It took half a year. Like, but still, it's such a beautiful piece of art, and I salute to Stephen West for creating such a beauty. So, first of all, the whole debacle with centerpiece, I changed it. I picked one that was visually pleasing to me, and it came out really nice. So that was the first one, which I really loved. Then the second part was meh, just, you know, like it was there, the eyelets. It's there, yeah, it looks nice, but it's not the part that I enjoyed the most. The most I enjoyed a part that probably everybody hated, and it's the third part. And I have to say, I did hate it too. But the softness of the whole thing, it just made me want to knit on it more and more, and I really did enjoy it. And then the fourth part, which is the drop stitch, it took me a lot of time. And I mean a lot of time. I still have some markers, stitch markers in it, and that's basically because I still have some ends to weave in. And since we are with the ends, I know that Stephen West, he always says that you should just weave in as you go the ends with his technique, which he called Stephen weaving, but I do not really like it because it makes the fabric a little bit bulkier than it could be and should be. So I did the Stephen weaving in the beginning, and it was making like not really nice jumps in the fabric, so I decided against it. I ripped it out and just continued without it. And so now I'm left with approximately 1000 ends that I need to weave in, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I took it on a car ride to France, and I already did one wing, so I have just a few more left here, but it's not that big of a deal. So this one is nice, and I already wore it on a few occasions, yes, even with the ends. And it was fun, basically because these days I just wear black, so it was a nice pop of color. As much as this is kind of a red episode when I think about it, because another project is red. Yeah, but it was such a nice addition to my wardrobe, and it's basically a second big shawl that I own, that I knitted, and I do enjoy it. I really do. But if you've been watching my Vlogtober, you might know that I did quite enjoy this pattern at the moment when I was starting with it, and I thought, yeah, it could be a nice blanket. And what did Stephen West do? He made a blanket pattern. So as soon as I saw it, because I was pretty late to the show, but I started my blankie. So this was the Geogradient shawl pattern, and this is the Geogradient blanket pattern. And as you can see, on this one I did the knitted center, and on this one I opted for the crochet center. And it's the same pattern as I used for the Pop-Tart blanket, which I did, and I love it. It's such a flowery and springy theme, and also the colors that I picked. So the 4 colors that you see for the squares, it's the colors that I will be using for the whole blanket, and I am using the Mega Ball We Love yarn, which is a yarn you can buy from Hobby. It's where I bought it, and I love it for blankets and like home sweaters. I'm one of those people that do wear sweaters at home when it's a little bit colder, and I do enjoy them to be acrylic, mainly because I'm not scared to tear a hole in it. I will not cry if I tear a hole in it, because it's just acrylic and I can patch it and it will be fine. Whilst if it was a woolen sweater, I would really cry and would be really upset. Or if I spilled something on me, because I do spill a lot of things on me. Coffee, water, like anything and everything, and anything I eat also, which stains my clothes. So acrylic it is. And also I can just throw it into the washing machine and couldn't be bothered more, so or less. This is a work in progress, and I guess it will be one of those projects that will be living next to the couch when I will not have any other projects, so I can knit on it, and it will be one of those like projects for cleansing my palette after a difficult project or something that was just too monotone. This is a huge yay. And also, I did use up some yarn. So, we have 4 yarns in here, and it's the Papatya Angora. 550 meters in 100 gram. So basically it's the same like the Alize Angora Gold, it's just a smaller ball, and it looks nicer. Also, it's 80% acrylic and 20% wool. Really nice to touch. It's really nice to wear next to skin. It doesn't scratch, it doesn't do anything to me. So I do like this. And as you can see, this is a new ball. Yes, I did buy a new one. 2 of them. So I have some leftover of the black, and I used 42 grams of the black one, 56 grams of the pink one, I have it in my notebook, 57 grams of the bright red one. And if you look at it, it's quite the similar color, so if I decided to make it a little bit longer, the Ranunculus a little bit longer, I could. I do have the same color. And also, didn't mention this color. Mainly it's because I started a new project with it before I had the chance to take the weight. But I guess it was also like 50 grams. So that means I used up 200 grams of yarn, but I also bought 200 grams of yarn. Not good at all. So, as it is, we are minus 100 grams, and only because of this. And when I'm thinking about it, I just might use the Papatya for this one. I will use it up, that's the first one, but also I do not have any other project that I would use it on. I did use this one for the Sophie scarf, and I used a minimum of yarn, so I still have a lot. The thing with Steven West's patterns and all of the shawls is he loves I-cord bind-off. I, on the other hand, do not. Yes, I could always make like a normal bind-off, but it would roll, it would be not as nice as it is now. And I do enjoy the feel of I-cord bind-off. I was once again forced to do bind-off, I-cord bind-off on 500 stitches. And it's 3 stitches per one. So this took me like 2.5 hours maybe, because I was so tired of it. I wanted to throw it into the corner and never look at it again. But I did it and I finished it. So yay! It can go on the shelf. And the next project is this one. It's beautiful. And it's the one that I'm using the leftover Papatya for. This one is the Arctic Lights by Kutova Kika. And it's this really intricate and interesting pattern that I picked. Because after all of the like I-cord bind-offs and dip stitch and just plain stockinette, I wanted something more intricate. By far, I'm not too far. I'm only on row 16 or 17, and I'm just starting with all of the cables. But right from the beginning, you start with all of the lovely cables. This is my back marker. Oh, and my needle. So you just start with these beautiful cables that you make these cluster stitches, you make small ones over here, which are like more like a lacy patterns, eyelets, then you have more here, and it's all so lovely. I really do enjoy working on this, although it's a little bit tiresome, exhausting. It's a little bit exhausting because you have to look at 2 charts at the same time, so I just have it open on my laptop and in 2 tabs, and I'm just looking at it like that. What I'm knitting it with, it's the Papatya. This is the one that I have left, and it's a really nice color, but on the camera it shows more of a bright red, while it's more of the of this red. So it's a really nice color and I do like it. I realized that I do not have any red sweater, like this shade of red sweater, in my wardrobe, and suddenly I made 2. Yes, this is a little bit of a brighter color, and I mainly decided to do this in this red because I have one red sweater in my wardrobe, but it's really old and it needs a replacement. So this one will be a replacement for my old sweater, and this one will be just a lovely staple in my wardrobe. Back to the yarn, so I'm making it with the Papatya, held stable with some Fabel by Drops. 75% wool and 25% polyamide. It's a sock yarn, and they're the same color, so I really do enjoy pairing them together. Also, the Papatya is much more soft. It's more softer than the Fabel, so together they make a really nice and lovely fabric. Although I was not sure about, well, you start this one on 3.5mm needles or even 3mm needles, and since I'm holding two yarns together, I will talk about it shortly, it felt so stiff, but now when I finished it, it's so nice. I would like to finish it soon, but I guess it will be the one that will survive throughout the summer. Because I do not actually need a lot of yarn for it. And it's also from Stash, minus the 200 grams I ordered. So the Fabel is actually from my stash. I have a lot of balls of it. The last project that I have here is not a knit project. It is a crochet project. I have lovely legs here. I have basically 2 hands, 2 legs, and I am working on a hat. And it's going fine, it's going fine. This one, the yarn, this is what I have left. And I have to finish the body, the head, and put it all together, which presented a huge problem for me. I do not think this will be enough, so I decided to just drop the body, that's why it's not finished, and just make a head. And as soon as I will be finished with the head, I will decide whether I have enough yarn for the body, and if not, I will just crochet her with some shorts and a t-shirt. So I will basically just use another color for like undergarments. Although this doll is not supposed to have any undergarments, but it will have if I don't have enough yarn. This is a project that I have been commissioned to do, and it's 2 dolls that I have to do yeah, in a short amount of time for my colleague. And the short amount of time is there because we are actually moving and going for another job, so I need to finish it before we do actually leave. So I have still a few more days to go, and I hope I will be able to finish this. I just realized while doing the doll legs that's like what's the reason why I switched from crochet to knitting. Because before I was a knitter, I was the one that was always with a crochet hook in her hand making some toys, and I have made a ton of toys. And the main reason why I decided to teach myself how to knit properly was that I wanted to make some garments, but also because it was like more intricate. I could learn much more with it. And as soon as I took the crochet hook into my hand, I just remembered that's why I switched to knit, because it's a single crochet for 10 rounds on 60 stitches. That's 600 single crochets. And I'm getting so bored. I have no idea how I used to knit like huge toys. I did crochet them, I did a lot of toys, but now looking back at it, it was like so surreal. But also the toys with crochet, they're lovely. You can create so much. And the dolls, they are custom. I have the photos of 2 girls that I have to make the dolls to look exactly like the girls. So I will use up a lot of yarn actually. And the pattern that I'm using is lovely because it also has the pattern for the clothes. So I do not have to think too much. I did pick a doll pattern based also on the clothes she was wearing, and this one, it looked really nice, although I do have to change some things, but it's no problem, it's fine. A little bit of creativity is needed. Yes. It's really interesting. Before, like all those years ago, my brain, I could create a plushie just looking at something and I could crochet it. And now it's so difficult for me. My brain has still not adapted to the crochet terms. So I do have a little bit of a harder time because I have been knitting for such a long time that now the crochet terms, they are so surreal. But it's fine, I'm slowly getting there. And also, I do have to study a lot for these dolls because one of the girls, she has curly hair and I've never crocheted curly hair. So I do have to make a lot of research and hopefully they will be finished by Friday. It's Monday. We will see, we will see. But always the first doll, it takes such a long time. The second doll should be much quicker. And also this is, there are two sisters, one of them is bigger, one of them is smaller. So I mean taller, one of them is shorter, one of them is older, one of them is younger. So this is the older one, so it's bigger than the other doll, so yeah. It might work out. We will see. I'm not really optimistic when it comes to this. Maybe I will just mail them from our new address. It was not everything that I have knitted, but since I'm making like this update after the weigh-in of all of my yarn stash and counting how many balls I actually have, this is the projects, these are the projects that I started after. So that's why we have these here. And to the D-stash, I decided to take 2 more balls of yarn to Slovakia. So we are minus 200 grams. So we are on a good road. So I hope you had a nice chatty time with me. Enjoy your Easter Monday and I will see you the next time. Bye bye!